Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning for another news update for Friday, October 10, 2025. And I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and productive day. And in the news this morning, analyst identifies blood on curtain and cushion cover in Maitland murder trial. A government forensic analyst on Thursday identified for the 7-member jury blood splatter found on curtains inside the Constable Noel Maitland's Chelsea Manor apartment in St. Andrew. She also pointed to blood on a cushion cover which was also found inside the apartment. Maitland is on trial in the Home Circuit Court in Kingston for murder and preventing the lawful burial of a corpse in relation to the July 12, 2022 disappearance of his 24-year-old girlfriend, Donnelly Donaldson. Donaldson, who was a social media influencer and entrepreneur, was last seen at the Chelsea Manor. Her mother reported her missing on July 13, 2022. The curtain and the cushion cover were both shown to the jury, and the forensic analyst was asked to point out the areas on the items where evidence of blood was found. Areas where blood was detected were marked yellow, and areas where blood was not detected was marked KM negative, the analyst said, explaining that those areas which returned a negative result were tested for blood because the stains were present. She also identified a cream-colored throw pillow cover, which she said had blood on it. According to her, both a preemptive test and a confirmative test were done, and the results were positive for human blood. On Wednesday, the forensic analyst told the court that she observed certain important details while she was combing Maitland's apartment for evidence on July 21, 2022. Based on those observations, she formed certain opinions. There was no evidence of forced entry into the apartment. An individual was injured in the apartment. Blood from an injured individual came into contact with a curtain in the living and the dining room area. A kitchen mat was removed from the floor by the kitchen sink. Women's clothing was found in a black suitcase in the living and the dining room. It was for a person of a small body frame, she said. She also told the court on Wednesday that the scent of the air freshener was noticeable throughout the living and the dining room area while she was at Maitland's apartment. She also said she found black balaclavas, a shirt, a pair of trousers, a mini knapsack, a flower pot, and an entertainment stand in the living and the dining room area of the dwelling. She pointed out that in the black suitcase were 2 panties and a size 6 black dress. The trial continues on Monday. Indicom gives update of probe in Cherry Lane fatal shooting. The Independent Commission of Investigations says that 24 cops have provided witness statements in the ongoing probe into the fatal shooting of 22-year-old Jamar Farquharson in Cherry Lane, Clarendon on Monday, September 15. Farquharson was killed by lawmen during a planned police operation at his home. The cops say that Farquharson pulled a firearm while they were executing a search warrant. 23 cops, led by a superintendent, were reportedly on that operation. After his killing, Farquharson's relatives protested, claiming that he was killed in cold blood, and released the closed-circuit television footage from the home showing him running to open the front door of the dwelling before raising both hands above his head on seeing the police who were outside his house. Speaking at a press briefing at the Commissioner's Dumfries Road offices in St. Andrew on Thursday, Assistant Commissioner of Indicom Hamish Campbell said in addition to the witness statement, 6 officers have been interviewed and a further 5 officers are still to be interviewed. The inquiry continues analysis of the closed-circuit television footage and a full documented storyboard of what it shows and what it says has been done, he told the journalists. Every officer in that CCTV, which has been on public display, has been identified, so we know who they are, and in turn, they have provided statements. So it's a long inquiry, a larger inquiry, and we're not any further. We can't add anything further other than that sort of update of numbers, but it is progressing, Campbell said. St. James man charged following roadside attack. The St. James police have charged 30-year-old Duran Adlam of Lilliput in the parish with wounding with intent following an incident in Babylon in his community on April 20. Reports from the Barrington police are that about 8 p.m., a man was walking along the roadway when he was attacked by Adlam and a group of men who stabbed and beat him. The man managed to escape and the report was made to the police. An investigation was launched and during the probe, Adlam was arrested. He was charged after he was interviewed. Adlam's court date has not been finalized and his accomplices are currently being sought by the police. Claudette Thompson confirmed as a new DPP. Senior Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Claudette Thompson, will officially take over on Monday as Jamaica's Director of Public Prosecutions, the second woman to hold the top post. She replaces Paula Llewellyn Casey, who retired last month after serving 17 years in office, the longest tenure of any DPP in Jamaica's history. Thompson's appointment was confirmed in a letter issued Tuesday by the Office of the Services Commission. She had been acting in the role since Llewellyn's departure on September 19. Born on May 27, 1975, Thompson began her legal career in 2004 as clerk of the court in St. Anne. She joined the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions in 2007 as Assistant Crown Counsel. She is a graduate of the University of the West Indies, Mona, where she earned a bachelor's degree in international relations. She went on to obtain a Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Wolverhampton in the United Kingdom and later received her Certificate of Legal Education from the Norman Manley Law School. Throughout her career at the ODPP, Thompson has handled a range of complex criminal matters at all court levels, including the Parish Court, Supreme Court, and the Court of Appeal. Her leadership roles within the ODPP have included head of the Roster Committee, head of the Gun Court Unit, and oversight of the Home Circuit Administration Unit. She was also responsible for reviewing and issuing legal rulings requested by various state entities. Thompson has played a central role in several of the country's most high-profile gang prosecutions. These include the landmark anti-gang case that led to the conviction of Andre Bryan, leader of the One Don faction of the Klansman gang, the conviction of members of the Ushens Wilson gang, a major criminal network, and the prosecution of Tesha Miller, convicted of being an accessory after the fact to murder of former Jamaica Urban Transit Company chairman Douglas Chambers. Both Bryan and Miller are now serving life sentences. Outside of the courtroom, Thompson served as a member of the Legal Aid Board and a former vice president of the Legal Officers Staff Association. Manchester councillors voice concern for children. Political and security leaders on Thursday expressed alarm and concern about recent cases of missing and murdered children during the monthly sitting of the Manchester Municipal Corporation. The concerns were triggered by the cases of 12-year-old Manchester High student Jaden Smith, who has been missing for the past 2 weeks, and the 13-year-old Christian High School student Shantia Sargent, whose charred remains were found under a zinc beside a burnt-out refrigerator behind her home in Baileystown, Clarendon, 3 days after she was reported missing. I have a concern having to do with our children. There are too many problems of them going missing and being found dead. I wonder what can be done in terms of policing and parenting, if there can be a partnership with the schools. Councillor Jones Oliphant of the People's National Party, Mandeville Division, said at the meeting. Councillor Maria Mitchell, PNP, Belfield Division, shared a similar sentiment as he questioned the Manchester Police. Our children are suffering and our children are in a crisis. The matter of the schoolgirl from Christiana who was murdered, I would like an update. There has been information circulating about a relative being involved. Secondly, an update on the matter of young Jaden from Manchester High. I want to dig a little bit deeper. Does the investigation show whether Jaden was facing abuse? Asked Mitchell. There seems to be multiple sightings of him. He seems to be hiding from something or someone, added Mitchell. Head of the Manchester Police, Superintendent Kerry Duncan, in response, said the security forces are still searching for Jaden. We also are concerned about our missing children in the parish. We have at least one active investigation going on now with a young man from Manchester High School. That has been getting some serious attention, he said. Our team has been out day and night, following up on all the leads that we get to locate this young man. We have incorporated our Jamaica Defense Force counterparts, the Jamaica Fire Brigade, our K9 unit, our drone unit. All the agencies are working together to locate this young man, he added. He said that the investigation into Jaden's disappearance has been hampered by false information regarding reported sightings of the child. We don't have any information to suggest that he was being abused where he was. We are not sure if there are really sightings of Jaden. We have heard persons say they thought they saw him and it was mistaken identity. We have been getting a lot of prank calls about Jaden, said Duncan. Look on the far-reaching effect that it can have on Jaden's family, so I am just imploring you to desist from making those calls. If you see Jaden, we want to know where Jaden is, but if you don't see him, we can understand that also, added the senior cop. Duncan reiterated his appeal for Shantina's father to assist the detectives in their investigations into her death. That is probably one of the most unfortunate scenes that I have had to deal with in my 34-year career. Charred remains found burnt in a refrigerator. Our detectives are working assiduously to bring some level of closure to what is happening, and I just want to make this appeal to say anybody who can implore the young lady's father, Mr. Lawrence Sargent, to turn himself in, said Duncan. He is somebody who we believe can help us in advancing our investigation, so we are asking him just please to make contact with us at the Christiana or Mandeville police station. We have been gathering a lot of information and depending heavily on forensic evidence, and a lot of it I might add, said Duncan. He also said the police personnel have been deployed to minimize loitering by school children. Once they see students on the road loitering, their responsibility is to intervene to find out why they are on the road. What time does their school end? Why are they not at home? Oftentimes, we have to take some of them to our police station to call their parents to say, this is what we observe, and the parents would come and get them, he said. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.